online, you know that traffic is pretty much everything. But what if one of the best ways to get that traffic was hiding right in plain sight? We're talking about Facebook comments, and today we are breaking down 5 very specific comment styles that will turn what you write into automatic profile visits.
But first, let's just address the big frustration in the room. You know the feeling, right? You spend all this time crafting what you think is a great post, you hit publish, and you hear nothing but crickets. It really feels like you're just shouting into the void. It is such a common problem, but the fix isn't some secret algorithm hack. Nope, it's all about understanding a little bit of human psychology.
So, here's our game plan for this little mini masterclass. We're going to start with the traffic problem itself. Then we'll dive into the psychology of why people are so hesitant to comment. From there, we'll get into the good stuff, your new toolkit with 5 powerful comment styles. Then we'll show you how to turn that into actual leads. And finally, we'll zoom out and see how this all fits into a real system for growth.
Let me be absolutely clear about this. Traffic is the lifeblood of your online business. I mean, without people seeing your stuff, nothing else you do even matters. And the key to unlocking that traffic, especially on a platform like Facebook, is getting real, genuine engagement. It's the signal to the algorithm, and way more importantly, to other people, that you actually have something valuable to say.
So why do people hold back? I mean, why don't they just jump into the conversation? Well, it pretty much boils down to one single, powerful, subconscious feeling. We're talking about social risk. Think about it this way. A public comment isn't really just a reply. It's kind of a performance. Suddenly, you're on a stage, visible to all your friends, followers, critics, and even complete strangers. And subconsciously, people worry about looking dumb, about saying the wrong thing, or maybe even getting called out. That little bit of hesitation is exactly what kills engagement before it even starts.
And here's a perfect example of how to fix it. On the left, you've got this interrogative comment. It just feels like a test, right? It puts the other person on the defensive immediately. But look at the one on the right. It's collaborative. It invites them into a friendly conversation, and it totally lowers that social risk. It's the difference between being interrogated and just having a coffee chat.
So here's the key takeaway. The best strategy isn't choosing between public or private. It's using both in a sequence. You start with that warm, low-pressure comment out in the open. That's your signal that you're authentic and easy to talk to. Then, once they reply or send you a friend request, you move the real conversation over to the DMs. That's the safe space where a genuine relationship can actually start to build. All right, now we're getting to the core of it. This is your brand new engagement toolkit. These are the 5 specific comment styles you can literally start using today to make people so curious that they just have to check out your profile.
First up, we have the Insight add-on. Now with this, you're not just saying, "I agree," you're actually expanding on the idea. This immediately makes you sound more thoughtful and puts you on the same level as the creator, not just as a fan. It triggers a little thought in their head that says, this person really gets it. And that right there, that's the spark of curiosity.
Next is the relatable experience. This one is all about making a pure human connection. When you share a similar struggle, you're showing you're authentic, that you've been on that same journey. People see a piece of themselves in your story, and that relatability is such a powerful trigger that makes them want to find out who you are. Number 3 is what I call the thoughtful reflection. This goes way beyond a surface-level "I agree." It shows that you have emotional intelligence and that you've actually taken a second to process the message. This makes the original poster feel seen and understood, and it makes everyone else reading see you as someone who's really perceptive. I love this one. The agreement with a perspective shift. You start by agreeing, which builds that instant rapport, but then you add a little twist that reframes the whole idea. This makes you sound incredibly insightful, and it sparks a ton of curiosity about what other unique perspectives you might have. And finally, we have the short, powerful statement. These are just mysterious, confident, and they're packed with emotion. They don't give away the whole story, which almost forces people to click on your profile just to figure out who you are and why you sound so certain. Trust me, mystery is a huge driver of clicks.
Okay, a quick but very important warning here. Whatever you do, please avoid these kinds of comments. "Great post, love this," a couple of fire emojis. I mean, the algorithm might count them for half a second, but actual human beings completely ignore them. They add zero value, they create zero curiosity, and they get you absolutely nowhere.
Okay, so you've crafted the perfect comment using one of those styles. What happens next? How does this actually turn into real business results? This is where we connect all the dots, from sparking that initial curiosity all the way to generating a real lead. This right here is the entire goal.
It is not about getting a like on your comment. It's about writing something so insightful or so relatable or so mysterious that someone literally stops scrolling, pauses, and thinks to themselves, who is this person? That one thought is the trigger for the single most important action they can take, visiting your profile. And here's the funnel that this creates. It's a chain reaction. That one strategic comment leads to a profile visit. That visit then turns into a friend request or a follow. That new connection opens the door for a real conversation in the DMs. And that conversation, that's where you solve problems and generate a real lead for your business. It all starts with one comment.
Now let's zoom out for a second, because while this commenting skill is incredibly powerful, it's really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Real, sustainable growth isn't about just using random tactics. It's about building an entire system.
You know, far too many people are just out there guessing. They're posting randomly, commenting randomly, and just hoping that something sticks. But that's not a business strategy. That's a lottery ticket. Real growth comes from understanding the psychology, mastering the engagement, and plugging it all into a proven system that works for you over and over again.
And a complete system looks a little something like this. It's got deeper Facebook training, it has automation to handle all the tedious work, email systems to nurture your leads, multiple traffic strategies, and of course, a central profit center where you actually make your money. That artful commenting we just talked about, that's the front door to this entire structure.
So the real question for you is this. Are you ready to stop guessing and to start building a real system? A system where every single action, from one little comment to a full email campaign, works together to grow your business predictably.
If your answer is yes, and you want the complete system that's behind all of these engagement strategies, including all the Facebook training, automation plans, traffic plans, and how to build your own profit center, then just comment the word hustle below, or use the link that's provided. You'll get access to the entire mega link, all the bonuses, and everything you need to stop guessing and start building your business for real.
On January 1st, the world will experience something unlike anything. It is the day the Hustleverse officially makes its debut. Welcome to the Hustleverse will be the first installment of the greatest collection of edutainment music to ever be created for the Hustleverse, and your first opportunity to get access to a movement designed to inspire, motivate, and fuel real hustlers. 2026 Album of the Year has arrived, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Everybody got a speech. Everybody got a quote. But when it's time to lift something heavy, that's when you see who's real. Talkers and builders. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile, one bring tools for the fix, one love the sound of success, one love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, cause the fruit tell the difference. I seen them type facts, then they vanish when it's action. Whole timeline full of hype but no traction. They know every saying, every caption, every line, but can't produce one result if you give them the time. They'll debate you for hours, try to win with a phrase, while a builder take 10 minutes and change his whole day. I ain't mad at talking, words can spark a flame, but if it don't turn to work, it's just smoke with a name. I come from where the block had to share. If one got to play, we made room at the chair. Now I watch these long I built me a system, put a map in the dirt. Cause the truth ain't loud, it's consistent at work. If you can't carry bricks, don't call it love. I'm building a legacy, not a common club. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile, one bring tools for the fix. One love the sound of success, one love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, yeah, cause the fruit tell the difference, yeah. I used to take it personal, like why they don't support. Then I learned most folks clapping got no strength to live more, yeah. They tired from their own stones, they drowning in their own doubt. So they cheer for a second, then disappear when you're out, hey. But I still keep receipts, cause patterns don't lie. If you only show up when it's easy, you not mine. See, a builder ain't perfect, builder bruising still here. Builder shaky some days, but he faithful to fear. Builder asks for the blueprint, not the gossip, not the tea. Builder say, show me steps, not tell me what to believe. Talker love being seen, camera hungry, ego fed. Builder love being solid, hands dirty, goes ahead. Talker chase validation like a drug in the night. Builder chase elevation, turn pain into a light. So when I pick my circle, I ain't picking by fame, I'm picking by effort. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. Different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixes. One love to work when it's missed. I move with the builders. Decision day, yeah, that fork in the road. Either stay in the crowd or commit to the code. Cause legacy get messy when your message ain't clear. They'll fight over who you were in a race while you're here. So I speak with precision, no fog in my tone. Who I am, what I do, what I'm building, set in stone. I'm building with believers, not browsers on the fence. Cause I like what you're doing, ain't the same as investment. Some can share a link, but can they help you build? Can they hold you accountable when you're ready to quit? Can they tell you the truth when your feelings get loud? Can they stay 10 toes when the wave hit the crowd? That's a builder. Someone solid when the spotlight gone. Someone playing with you daily till the harvest long. So if you want the freedom, bring discipline too. Cause the talk feel good, but the build pull you through. Yeah. Talkers make noise, builders make history. Choose who you are, and choose who you build with.
Okay, family, I'm back at it again with another quick affiliate marketing food for action message. Now, this message comes from Gary V. It's a simple message, but it's very powerful. Every second you spend thinking about what somebody else has is taken away from the time that you could create something for yourself. That's very powerful. There's a lot of people out here that's so worried about what they look like, what other people are going to say about them, the impression that they think they're giving to people that prevents them from taking action on their own lives. There's something special about you, and there's something that you have to present to the world that's valuable. And you shouldn't let trivial things stand in the way of you delivering what it is you have to offer. There's people that have all types of conditions and all types of visible problems, speech problems, whatever type of problems. Some people are positive, some people are negative, but they don't let those qualities about themselves that might seemingly deter people stop them from living their dreams. So I want to encourage you guys today on what I call Decision Day Wednesday to create something for yourself. And if you don't have any, idea of what that might be, I want to invite you to join me on a free training. Actually, it's one of my most recent lives that I did just a day ago. And it's very powerful because it might give you some insight as to how you can create something for yourself. So if you're interested, comment hustle, and I'll send you the direct link so that you can get access and hopefully start creating something for yourself today.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live in most places, right? And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 45, day 2, and we are right at 17 minutes into today's challenge. Now, I said we are live in, some places, right? As I pull back the curtain, Facebook was doing what Facebook sometimes do. So according to my laptop, I'm showing live in the private group, but according to my cell phone, it just shows the link. So I'm not sure which one is true, but hopefully it's showing live in the private Facebook group. If it's not showing there, then of course we are streaming, multicasting on YouTube. So today, we know what today is. Today is Tuesday. Today is a special day. It's a day that we get that first training session of the week, I would say. We have other trainings. We have a Monday session where my business partner, he goes over some things, but Tuesday usually kicks off that first official training of the week. And that's going to be later on today. But for right now, I'm not going to keep you guys too long today, but I want to give you some powerful information. I want to help you start off your day on the right foot, so to speak. And as we look at this document behind me, there's a special link that you need to have access to. And that link is right here. Hopefully, you've already gotten access to what we call the mega link. That sets the foundation for everything that you want to build. It's your foundational tool set. It gives you access to ongoing training, and it gives you access to exclusive tools that will allow you to build any business that you want online or even offline. Because even offline businesses, 90+% of them, they are also online. They need some type of online presence, and we have them covered when it comes to marketing and being able to promote those businesses. So today I did what, I've grown so accustomed to doing, right? I accessed one of my favorite free tools, which is something that everybody should have access to, and it's right there within your browser. So I refer to this special tool often, and it's simply the new tab button. So you see at the top of your browser, there's a plus button. And depending on whether you're using Chrome or if you're using Explorer, like I have grown accustomed to now, but if you press that button, it'll open up a new tab. And usually that new tab will lead you to, the trending news stories of the day. Now, I haven't hit that refresh button because I don't want the page to refresh. I want you guys to actually see what's been kind of trending and the stories that's been going on. Some things are political, some things are tech, Some things are, celebrity based. But there's one particular story that stood out to me today that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, this one right here was going to be one of those stories that I kind of considered, but I decided not to talk about this one in particular. But I'm going to tell you the title because maybe you might want to look it up, read the article yourself, and get some information that, nobody else might be able to get, or we won't talk about today, but you might be able to use it to add value to your business. So one of the things that most online marketers fail to do is that they fail to go above and beyond. They only usually work with what's given to them, what's told to them to do. Hey, they tell you, hey, just keep posting on a daily basis. Yeah, okay. Post what on a daily basis? Okay, somebody might tell you what to post on a daily basis, and then you find that it's not really working. So you continue to do what's recommended, but you don't go above and beyond to find out what it is that you need to tweak, the things that you need to adjust. You don't necessarily take your own life into your own hands and work on ways to improve what it is that you have already been given to work with. See, now within our amazing system, we have a bunch of tools. Now, tools are powerful only in the right hand, only in skilled workers' hands. You wouldn't put a hammer in a doctor's hand, and you wouldn't put a syringe in a construction worker's hand. Two different skill sets, and they might not be able to handle what those particular tools are capable of. So in the wrong hands, things can go wrong. But in the right hands, tools can be used to literally save lives. But this one right here, this story, I'll just read the title. It says, I paired Claude with Notion and it instantly made both apps more useful. So this is a prime example of, going above and beyond. See, a lot of people have access to Claude and some people might have access to Notion. You might not know what either one is, but then there's a special group of people that decide to go above and beyond and they say, hey, let me see what I can do if I combine these two specific tools and see what I get. And those are the people that usually are able to go above and beyond in their business and get, the results that most other people will not get. But that right there, that hopefully it gave a light bulb moment for a lot of people, for the right person, right? But even though we're not talking about that, this right here was the story that I really wanted to talk to you guys about because it hits close to home. And the title of this particular article is Procrastinating Isn't a Sign of Laziness or Lack of Willpower. Neuroscientist says how to get unstuck. So I already opened up this article. I didn't start reading it, but the headline, the hook itself caught my attention because a few years ago, I had to help lead myself. So I decided that I needed to go above and beyond what I was actually currently doing. Now, there was different people that I could have followed, learned from, listened to, but I found that a lot of people weren't giving me the tools and the information, all of the complete information that I needed. You had motivational speakers, all types of people that, said this, said that, gave advice, but, you know, it wasn't necessarily clicking for me. They weren't speaking to me in a way that I needed them to speak to me. And I realized that one of the biggest keys to success is first identifying who you are, getting to know yourself, getting to know your good aspects, your bad aspects, the things that you're good at, the things that you're not so good at, so that you know what to tackle. The things that you're good at, usually you can, be great at those things and not really worry about it. But the things that you're bad at, you have to decide whether or not you're going to work on improving them or if it's a specific skill set that you need in order to build your business. You have to decide whether or not, it's worth your time learning and perfecting those skills, or should you outsource? Should you look for someone that actually has those skills mastered and allow them to do what it is that they do best, and to build a real business that's based off of partnership, partnering with the right person or the right group of people that have the right skills so that you can come together and bring what I like to call that complete puzzle together. So years ago, when I was on the quest of, trying to become the best version of myself, I had to create some things for myself. Sometimes we have the right answers, we have the answers for ourselves, but we don't execute on it. And like I said in the previous live, one of the most powerful things for you to do in order to get you going or to head you off in the right direction towards success is to put that information right in front of you, whether it's on a picture that you hang up in your bathroom on a mirror, something that you get to look at on a daily basis, or it could be, if you're an online marketer, you can create content, you can create videos that not only train the people that you share those videos with, but they can be trainings for you personally. Now, we don't always know the answers to our own problems. That's why we need coaches and mentors. But sometimes we know the answer once again, but we just don't act on it. And we need to hold ourselves accountable for that. You know what your body looks like. You know what you look like naked. You know better than most people would know those things about yourself. And hey, you've never had a six pack, but you want one, right? So you know that, hey, there's some exercises that you can do that can help you get that six pack. But it's on you whether or not you take action towards that. Now, if you don't, then that means that you won't have that six pack. But sometimes, people, they're more ego driven and they're more about, proving something to the world or to themselves. So maybe you might want to get a magazine with pictures of, bodybuilders or whatever, people with six packs, eight packs, whatever it is. Rip the picture out, hang it up on the wall. Now you have something that you have to look at on a daily basis, seeing, representing the thing that you want, but the thing that you haven't taken action on or you've been procrastinating on working towards. Now that's you coming up with a solution to your own problem. After a while, for a lot of people, they get tired of just looking at a picture. They get tired of feeling like, hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And they decide to take action. So let's go to this article real quick. Now, it doesn't have a key takeaways section at the top. So we're just going to go over a couple of key points that's in that article, just to get an idea of how it can be helpful and how we can use it to our benefit. So it says at the top here, for many of us, procrastination comes with a lot of emotional baggage, says neuroscientist Anne Laurie LeCunif, PhD. Now, baggage. Yeah, a lot of people have emotional baggage. And, I always say to you guys, get out of your emotions. Not necessarily to say to never get into them, but if you get into your emotions, find a way to quickly get out of them by actually becoming a logical thinker and an action taker. You don't want to be stuck in emotions for too long because it could lead to certain things. It could lead to, certain things like what we talked about in yesterday's live, right? So if you haven't seen yesterday's live, you need to see that powerful edutainment filled live. But emotional baggage could be something that lingers with you, and it's kind of like a untreated sore. if you leave that sore untreated, then it can become an infection, and then it could spread across your body, and then it can cause other conditions that's worse than just, that particular sore. It can turn into, you know, stress, anxiety, and depression. So procrastination is a powerful thing. You need to stop or to learn how to stop procrastinating. So it says here, we've been taught to associate procrastination with laziness and lack of willpower. And so whenever we procrastinate, we start blaming ourselves for not doing the thing that we said we were going to do. So it becomes a cycle. So just like with anything, we know that negative things can become cycles. So if we know that we have a task that we need to do and we procrastinate on it, then, once when that time frame goes by, let's say we are supposed to do something at 8 o'clock and now it's 9 o'clock. Then we start looking at it and said, man, I was supposed to do that at 8. Then you start getting in your feelings, getting a little emotional about it. And then you say, well, I'm gonna get to it. Then 10 o'clock comes. Then you start feeling worse and worse and worse as the time goes by past that point of when you were supposed to start. And the cycle continues. You think about it, you get emotional, and then those emotions start to turn into like that sore, starting to widen up, starting to get bigger, giving it more chance for it to turn into an infection and making it harder for you to actually treat it. Imagine having a paper cut that you could have just, put some alcohol on, put a little Band-Aid on, and it'd be good. But then, you don't do that. And then it turns into a big gash, something that now you're going to need to have a ace bandage, something that you're going to have to wrap your arm completely with in order to stop the bleeding. So internal issues or emotional issues can be the same or can cause the same amount of pain as external problems, right? So that's why you have to learn how to deal with one thing so you know how to deal with other things. Or in other words, one of my favorite sayings is, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I've been saying that for probably over a decade. So what do? It says these negative feelings only make it harder for us to get back on track, according to Le Conf. Hopefully I'm pronouncing their name right. The author of Tiny Experiments, How to Live Freely in a Goal-Obsessed World. Now, that right there is a great title. A great title and a great hook. It speaks to what you might possibly have to do in order to get over this condition. Let's call it a condition, right? And it gives you, an outlook of what's going on that might be causing this issue. So tiny experiments right at the beginning, right? It says that right there is a strong, hook. It identifies kind of like what we do in marketing, what a person is going to have to do. Is it going to be easy? We often put no skills needed, no tech, in as little time as possible. But this right here says tiny experiments, which lets you know that these are just little things, possibly little tweaks, little changes that you might need to make. Nothing big, nothing crazy. So that lessens a person's, need or want to procrastinate, right? If you know that it's going to be something small, hey, you might want to get those small things done right away. There's no need to procrastinate on something that we feel is tiny, that is small to do. So that right there, the title of this book lets me know that this particular author has been thinking, that they have come to the conclusion of procrastination is a big issue. and we need to tackle it in every aspect of our presentation and what we're doing, even down to the title. And of course, the title of a book or whatever is the first thing that people usually get to see. You don't get to read the story, you don't get to get the results, you don't get to get the trainings before you actually get to see the title, right? The title usually always comes before anything. So that lead magnet, so to speak, usually comes before you get access to the main attraction. These are tricks and secrets to success that you're actually learning right here from an article that's specifically geared towards procrastination, right? But it's giving you keys to success when it comes to marketing. And only the right people with the right mindset and the right eyes, the right lenses can actually see that. So, tiny experiments. How to live freely in a goal obsessed world. So, we already know that people are so obsessed with achieving goals. Whatever it is that you want to do, there you should make it an obsession. You should be obsessed by your goals. You should want to achieve them so bad. Kind of like, what Eric Thomas said and what I saw in a video yesterday. And I remember, Eric Thomas said this probably, man, has it been close to 10 years? Said you have to want to be so successful. You have to want it better than you want to breathe. So he told the story of a guy who met with the guru, and the guru, he met him on a beach, and he used a metaphorical situation to help this individual understand how serious their goals were. The guru invited them to come out to the beach, told them don't wear a suit, come prepared to swim. And the person that went, the guy that went, he's thinking to himself, I don't want to learn how to swim. I want to be successful. It's probably like you right now. I don't want to read an article. I don't care about what this person says about procrastination. I just want to make money from home. Yeah. Well, you can't learn how to do that until you learn the core principles of what it is that you need to do or the person that you need to become in order to get that done. So in the story, the guy goes out to the ocean, he meets with this guru, and the guru tells him to step out into the water. And the water starts getting higher and higher the farther and farther out into the water that he walks. And that's kind of like what we're doing here. We're walking into the water here. We're walking into the ocean. I'm getting you to follow along to understand. Now, the water for this individual comes up to the chest. It starts to rise. It comes up to the neck. And it's right there, right there coming up to his mouth. At this point, you start to taste the salt water. Things start to, make you a little anxious and excited because you don't know what's going on and you don't understand why you're here. But you know that, it's giving you an emotional feeling. But it's just like where we're at here. At this point, we're at the point where the water is right here. It's coming up to you, and now you're starting to feel possibly like, why am I here? I don't want to, this is not what I came for. I want to make money. And then you get put in a position where the water just overtakes you. You get somewhat plunged into the water. And you get plunged so deep into the water and you get held down in there by the information. You start to get engulfed in the information, right? And as it says, those negative feelings only make it harder for us to get back on track. So now you're under the water, you're learning, you're getting the information, but you still don't understand what it is that's going on until the coach, the guru, pulls you up and he asks you, like they asked the man that went out to the water. What is it that you were thinking about when you were up under that water? What is it that you wanted to do most while you were there? A lot of people might be here today saying, "Hey, well, the thing that I'm in this water with you right now. I'm looking at this information, but the thing that I want most is to make money." And the person that was out in that water, the thing that they figured out was that what they wanted most was to be able to have the ability to breathe again. They couldn't breathe up under that water. They needed to be able to breathe. The idea of being successful, yes, they want to be successful, but they realized what they really needed to do. They needed to be able to breathe. And what you need to realize is that you need to be able to develop your mindset in a way that will allow you to become successful. So this title right here, How to Live Freely in a Goal-Obsessed World, you have to understand that most people have goals. Most people want to achieve those goals. There's a big obsession, a worldwide obsession with achieving goals. But what will achieving goals actually do? Well, right here it says how to live freely. So you want to be able to achieve your goals and you want to be able to live freely. So another way of saying live freely is to, a lot of people live freely on the street. It's not about being rich. It's not about being poor. It's about being able to say, hey, I'm doing what it is that I want to do, or I'm living my life to the fullest extent possible. I have what I want. I have what I need. I'm not stressing. I'm not anxiety filled. I'm living a life of freedom. And I'm not bound by procrastination. I'm not bound by feeling as though I have all of these emotions bottled up in me because I didn't take action. So to be able to achieve goals and to live freely in a world that's obsessed with achieving goals, what if you were able to master being able to break the habit of procrastination? And what if that set off a chain reaction for you? And the chain reaction consisted of you saying, hey, this is something that I need to do. I'm going to do it. And then you actually take action on it and you get it done. That creates a cycle, just like the negative situation creates a cycle. When you procrastinate, you start feeling worse. But when you actually start taking action and you see results, you start feeling better. You start feeling accomplished. And once when you start feeling accomplished, you get more confidence, and confidence feeds into your obsession to want to achieve more goals, to do more. And if I can take one of these tiny experiments, and I can be successful at it, then, if there's 10 of them, then I'm going to move on to the second experiment. Say, okay, how fast can I actually get this experiment done? Get that done. Now I'm more confident. Well, let's go on to the third one. It's kind of like how when I started the Hustlers 10-minute a day challenge 45 weeks ago. I started out with day one with no ambition to continue on past day one. But once when I saw that day one was a tiny experiment, it was a tiny step in the right direction. That was me putting the picture of what I needed to do right in front of me. And once when I put that picture in front of me, see, I don't know. I'm not like most people. I have to say, myself, it doesn't take me 5, 10 times to catch on to something. I don't need to commit a crime and get arrested, get out, then go commit another crime, get arrested, then get out, then do it again. And then the third time say, oh, man, maybe I shouldn't be committing crimes. It doesn't take me that type of experience in order to know what to do. I like to take action now. And I've groomed myself to be that type of person. If I see somebody doing something that I know is going to end in a bad result, you know, that's my cue. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's enough for me. I don't have to experience the pain that I know they're going to experience in order for me to say that I don't need to do that. Or if I see somebody that does something great and they get a good result from it, then, you know, say less. Let's get to it. Let's do what they did in order to get success. If we see some results, let's do it again. Oh, we got some good results the second time too. Okay, we're starting a pattern. So now the excitement builds. Now the need to procrastinate becomes less, and the joy and the excitement of achieving a goal changes the whole makeup of your life from the inside out. Your chemistry, how you feel on the inside, and even how you look, down to the fact that before you started that first experiment and while you were in the phase of procrastinating, you might not have noticed it, but other people might have noticed this about you. You looked a little different. You looked like the type of person that procrastinates. You look like the type of person that, you know, always made excuses. You just had that, you seen somebody and you looked at them and you're like, they look like the type of person that would do that. We look at news stories and we see stories of people committing crimes and stuff like that, and we say, I could see it on that person's face. You can look in the person's eyes and tell that, it looked like, they have the capability of doing this, that, and the third. And then you can look at somebody that does something positive and start to achieve goals. And then you can see one of the things that I learned, and one of the keys to success that I learned over a decade ago. And I narrowed it down. I used to narrow it down to the idea of, I used to say that the only people in this industry, well, back then in multi-level marketing, it seemed like the only people in that industry that was making money or that was doing good was like pastors and ministers. And I said, man, I'm not a pastor or a minister. Like, yo, I don't have a congregation and all this, that, and the third. But I noticed some things about them and other successful people who were in the industry, but they weren't pastors and ministers. They all spoke with a positive like tone. Even if you were just speaking to them over the phone, it's like you can hear the smile. You can see them smiling. You can hear it in their voice. You can tell that they have a big smile on their face as they're talking to you. They're excited. They're telling you stuff with enthusiasm. Even when they're, trying to help you with the problem, it's like, they're trying to do it in as upbeat a manner as possible. It could be a bad situation, but they turn things around and they say, well, man, things will get better. All you have to do is this, that, and the third. And sometimes, that could tick some people off. It's like, man, I'm struggling here. And you got this person that's, always smiling and happy or whatever. What you smiling about? But then for some people, that can become contagious. We look forward to being around people that's positive, uplifting, and that can provide us with that positive energy. And then if we're sharing something that we're going through with them and they're still smiling, that gives some people motivation and saying, hey, I want to be like that person. I want to be able to go through hard times and be able to still smile and have a upbeat spirit about myself. So I'm going to listen to what they have to say because I want to be like that. Then it becomes more so of, it's not completely about making money. At that point, it becomes the moment when you actually want to breathe. That's when it turns into you wanting to breathe more than you want to become successful. and your goals start to evolve. Now the journey becomes more of a personal development journey where you're learning, you're becoming a better person, and even a small win, not $1 million type of income type of win, but it could be your first sale. That will feel so much better to you because you've become a person that has changed from the inside out. Now, let me just read this one last little line here. I'm not going to get too deep into this article because it's available for you to read. All you have to do is search it up. Take action. So it says here, from her perspective, procrastination shouldn't be a source of shame. It's really just a signal from your brain that something is not working quite right at the moment, she says. Let's read a little bit more. Instead of ignoring that signal, instead of trying to push through and blaming yourself in the process, what would it look like to just listen to that signal? She continues. Yeah. Self-reflection, putting the mirror up, paying attention to that signal. Every day your body is telling you something. I always refer to that sinking feeling in your gut, kind of like being on a roller coaster when you're going up and you know a drop is about to occur. So you get up to the top and then it crests off and it slows down. It's like that light flashing before your eyes type of moment. And then your stomach starts to turn. And then as you go down, you feel that sinking feeling or that pit in your stomach feeling. That's one of those signals. A lot of people on a daily basis, they live with various signals, mental signals that trigger them to say, hey, the hairs on the back of my neck is starting to stand up. Whatever it is, there's signals that you're being given, and you just have to pay attention to those signals and take action on those signals. Don't blame yourself. So instead of trying to push through and blaming yourself in the process, just pay attention to the signal. Because blaming yourself is another form of, kind of like beating yourself up. You don't want to do that too often because then you start becoming abusive to yourself, right? And if you start becoming mentally abusive to yourself, that can wear on you. That can be just as bad as somebody else telling you that you're not worthy. Now, what could be worse than getting on the phone with somebody and them saying something bad about you, saying, hey, you ain't this, you ain't that, or whatever, and then you being able to hang up and just put that away. Hey, whatever. You said what you said, and I'm done with it. I ain't got to hear that no more. But the thing that's worse than that is never being able to have relief from that. Having a voice in your head constantly bringing it back up to you. Man, you know you were supposed to do this, right? And then what are you going to do? You can't run from that. You try to hang up the phone in your mind. You try to hang it up. Try to start thinking about something else. Boom. Yeah, man. Well, maybe what am I going to cook? Let me start thinking about what am I going to make to eat. But, that's just a temporary fix. As soon as you finish cooking and while you're eating, then the thought starts to creep back up into your mind. It's like that phone just picked up once again and it starts to talk to you. Or you're trying to go to sleep. Turn off the TV. There's no distractions or anything like that. No sound. Then boom, you lay there, close your eyes, and there go that voice right once again talking to you in your mind, attacking you. Now what do? You need to go to sleep so that you can get up in the morning, do what it is that you have to do. Now that voice is keeping you up all night, and then that cycle continues. You wake up tired, you go to work, groggy, not wanting to do your job, and then the cycle continues. So listen to the signals. Now, before I go, I want to just encourage you guys to, join us later on today because we have a training that's going on. Let me pull up the back office so that you guys can actually see what we have going on today. So today, Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, at 2 p.m. EST time, we have a training that's titled Blueprint Training, the High Ticket Commission Formula. So in this training right here, my business partner, Mr. Wayne Crow, he will be live as he walks you through the exact formula his students use to land high ticket commissions, even if you have never made your first sale yet. Powerful. So we know it's a proven system, right? It's worked for some of his students, but it's just a blueprint. Blueprints are great. It's a tool, but you have to make sure that your hand is able to use that tool. Your hand and your mind is able to interpret the information on that blueprint so that you can start building and making sure that you can make the best of the information that is provided. So that's at 2 p.m. EST time today. So as it says, in about 4 hours and 2 minutes away. So once again, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. I want to encourage you to get access to today's live, and so that you can learn the information and you be able to apply it, and you can find out how you can actually earn an income simply by watching our live trainings. You can actually get paid to learn, as we call in our Learn and Earn program. So if you're interested in that, you definitely need to start out with, once again, the most valuable document in all of online marketing, getting access to your mega link. And this is why it's so powerful, because it gives you access right here in this one document, in this one section right here. It gives you access to so much. It's priceless. Yeah. Even though it has the value listed at $2,997, it's priceless, because what you can gain from this is worth more than money. It's a whole different mindset shift and a whole other opportunity for you to live the best of your life that is yet to be seen. And I wanted to also, I'm thinking about it based off of this article right here. Like I told you, years ago, I had to be the answer for myself, and in particular when it came to procrastination. But I created a 3-part series. Well, matter of fact, I believe it's a 4-part series. And that series back then was a series of videos, and I titled them The Biggest Threats to the Entrepreneur. So I listed 3 of what I considered to be the biggest threats to entrepreneurs. The first one was procrastination. That's why this stuck out to me. The second one was indecision. And the third one was skepticism. And back then, when I came up with those 3 trainings, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to, where I was headed with my thinking, but I knew that it was something that I needed to conquer myself. And then I came up with this concept called piss poor concept. Now, it's weird. It's crazy because, mentally, I tell you guys all the time about I'm big on etymology in a specific way, and changing the meanings of specific days, right? So like today is training day Tuesday. And when I thought about that training series, after I created the videos, I said, man, PIS, piss poor. Nobody wants to be piss poor, right? That used to be a saying back in the day. You don't want to be piss poor. But then I said, no, you do want to be piss poor. That's one of the keys to success. You want to be poor in procrastination. You want to be poor in being indecisive. And you want to be poor in being skeptical. So I created those series of videos. And if you're interested in getting that series, then, type hustle in the comment section, or, I don't think it'll trigger the algorithm negatively, but you can type in PIS or PIS poor or poor, whatever you feel most comfortable with typing in the comment section. And I want to give you access to that, I believe, 4-part training. I want to give you access to it absolutely for free. And it's not anything polished. It's not anything over edited, anything like that. It's something that I created for myself years ago. Me standing in front of a whiteboard, something that I had drew on a whiteboard to help me, and that I knew even back then would be a benefit to other people. So the quality of the video isn't that great from a visual standpoint, but the information is very powerful, and I've kept a hold of that information because it's what we call evergreen and it's universal. Once when I created that series, I listened to it myself. I listened to the information that I shared with myself, and I decided that I was never going to allow those 3 threats to be something that took away my goals, that took away my dreams. So once when I did that, things started to change. My mindset changed, and then my income changed. And I hope it does the same for you. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. Look at the time, it's 10:02 a.m. I hope you've, gotten some value out of this. And I look forward to seeing you later on in the live and tomorrow when we go live. Let me pull up that closing video as we always do. All right, we got it right there. I'm gonna fade to the back, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first, but in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. Till my PayPal pinged, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no 6-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted, but now my bars turn pain into color-coded, from broken to branded. I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom, and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain, 'cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create, etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type. Blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat I write, I'm free